Hello, my name is Carl Jones and I'm a comedian, author and massive football fan. I want to tell you about When Football Began Again, my brand new podcast that takes a nostalgic look at the Premier League era. It's been just over 30 years since the face of English football changed forever. And in this podcast, I'll be delving into the era-defining games, the memorable goals, speaking to the players and managers who were there, and sharing your memories of the Premier League era. Along the way, I'll be joined by fellow comedians and superfans.
And I came out stage door and I was walking off. Teddy Sheringham's coming towards me. I just said, "Teddy," and he turned around and he went, "Oh, hiya, mate." And I went, "Can I give you a hug?" And he went, "Mate, bring it in." And he opened his arms and we just held each other outside the stage door. I think I held him a bit too long, to be honest.
I'll be having in-depth chats with the players and managers who were there. Brian Deane. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today.
I sneak between Gary Pallister and Peter Schmeichel. It sounds as simple as that, but honestly, it worked like a dream.
Joining me today, Danny Wilson. Danny, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Good afternoon. A player that was valued maybe around about anything between £5 and £8 million. He goes for £1 million to West Ham. And that was a big kicking because we'd lost a great player for pittance.
And there might even be the occasional famous fan. Poet, broadcaster, lifelong Barnsley fan, Ian McMillan. Ian, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
You can guess the end of a play. You can guess the end of a film. You can never guess the end of a football match.
Among the features, we'll cover every single season of the Premier League era in depth, starting with 1992-93, where it all began. Again.
The whole new ball game slogan that they had. You've no idea how much a slogan has been hammered unless you're around in the summer of 92.
So for like 6 months I'm there reading what's staying up to watch match of the day. And then stupidly, the first time I watched match of the day, we beat Swindon 7-1.
I'll be asking guests which games they'd take with them onto a deserted island. If the format sounds familiar, it's just your imagination.
But there is a match that I think a lot of Coventry fans would probably answer the same way to this.
At the game, I just remember the referee falling backwards and then being on the ground, and then DiCanio and Martin Keown were both red carded in sort of a matter of seconds.
I'll be chatting to fans of all 50 teams who've appeared in the Premier League era about their memories. This isn't a podcast that's just about the so-called Big Six.
Feels like for a fledgling podcast about the Premier League to start with Swindon Town is, it's brave, but we're happy to be here.
Well, firstly, as an Ipswich Town fan, can I disagree with Fran and yourself? It was an absolutely appalling season.
And I'll be asking you to help me select the greatest Premier League player from each nation on earth, as well as playing along at home with our brand new game, Play Your Apps Right. I'd also love to share your favourite memories and stories from the Premier League era. You can share them with me via social media channels or via email whenfootballbeganagain@gmail.com. So subscribe now on your favourite podcast platform to get episodes delivered directly to your device. And follow us on social media for clips and highlights of every episode. So that's When Football Began Again, the podcast that takes a nostalgic look at the Premier League era. It's coming soon. Subscribe now, tag your mates, follow us on social media. We'll kick off with 1992-1993 with some fantastic guests.